Hello, Tom Frezza here from the Naval History and Heritage Command, and today we are again going to be cooking with history with a recipe out of the 1945 edition of the Cookbook of the United States Navy. And the recipe we'll be focusing on today is bean soup. Now this is a recipe that we were actually requested to try out and scale down for you. And the reason why is because apparently it's one of the iconic dishes of the U.S. Navy, along with SOS and Salisbury steaks and coffee. Bean soup apparently is one of those main dishes. And looking at the ingredients and the recipe in here, you can see why the cooks in the galleys really went for this. First off, they could make large batches in those steam-jacketed kettles. And all of the ingredients in here are things that were either left over from previous meals, meaning that they could reduce waste by recycling some of the leftovers that they had. And the other thing is that a lot of the ingredients are also dried ingredients, meaning that they would be able to keep for a long time while at sea. So we're going to get into this recipe and see how it is. Now, the original recipe actually calls for a yield of 6 gallons, and the portion is 1 cup. So this recipe is for 100 portions. Now, we're not going to be making 6 gallons of soup today, but we've scaled down the recipe to a much more manageable size so that I can make it here and so that you can try this recipe at home. And we're going to go through the ingredients, tell you what they originally were, and then what the scaled down version is. So, first ingredients, beans, white, dried. Originally 3 1/4 quarts, we'll be using 1 cup. Next is water cold to cover for the beans, and we've scaled it to the same, to rehydrate the beans, because again, they're using dried beans. Next is ham stock, originally 5 gallons. We'll be using 6 3/4 cups. Next is onions chopped, originally 1½ pints. We'll be using 1/4 cup, or I'm going to throw in 1 onion. I actually like onions. Then you have ham bones, originally 8. We'll be using 2. Okay, next on the list you have cloves, whole, originally 1 teaspoon. We'll be using a pinch. Next is flour, originally 1 pint. We'll be using 1/8 cup. Followed by water, cold, originally 1 quart. We'll be using 1/3 cup. Next is pepper, originally 2 teaspoons. We'll be using a pinch of pepper, and then salt if needed, 1/2 cup. We scaled down, we'll be using 2 teaspoons. We probably won't add salt because the ham bones that we're putting in there are probably contain enough salt in them. But we'll see, we may add some depending on the taste. Now here is the makeup for the bean soup. Soak beans in water to cover for 2 to 3 hours. Add ham stock, onions, bones, and cloves. Heat to boiling temperature. Let simmer for 2 to 3 hours. Remove the bones. Now, remember, this is for a much larger portion, so it probably won't take 2 to 3 hours. Blend together flour, water to a smooth paste. Stir into soup. Add pepper and salt if needed. Reheat to boiling temperatures. So, I'm excited to try this out and warm myself up on a cold day like today. So let's get to it. Well, our bean soup is done. It's off the stove. It's done. It's boiling. So I've plated it up right here in this bowl. As you can see, there's plenty of beans and chunks of ham and some onions in there and everything too. It smells fantastic, and all that's really left to do now is to give it a test. So hopefully not burning my face off. Let's give it a try. Wow, this is really good. I think it's because I used cured ham necks, neck bones and everything. I wouldn't throw in any salt or any pepper. There's a lot of flavor coming out of that, along with really the onions in there and the ham stock. Great meal, and I kind of want to take another bite of it, but I'm going to hold off for a second so we can finish this up. So definitely give it a try. It's great for a very cold day, and it's definitely going to fill you up. And it's another really good recipe out of the 1945 edition of the Cookbook of the United States Navy. If you would like more information, please visit the website of the Naval History and Heritage Command, history.navy.mil. We'll see you at our next cooking video.